how's the festival going so far? Let's dive in.
Let's dive right in. It's going very well. I'm learning so much this year.
This is number 2.
This is number 2, the sophomore show. Last year was very easy, sold out very quickly before I did it. It was a very palatable name of a show. I think the biggest thing I'm learning is how to name a show this year around.
I'm very passionate about that.
Yes. I remember seeing a reel of yours actually about it. And I remember watching that and going, oh, I've got it sorted. And then this year I'm like, let's call it book signing. Let's do that. That'll be fun.
I will admit, even as someone who knows you, and I saw that, because also you're a very accomplished person online, and I want to sort of dig into the mysterious double life that I feel like people that have a big online following, and then you meet them in real life and you go, they're just a person, and you go, oh, wait a minute, holy shit, they got tens of thousands of followers, or that's the last time I checked, maybe more than that. But is the when I saw it said book sign, I was like, I believe that Elliot might have written a book, and therefore, what a fun idea that there is a book to be signed, but no.
I think I love doing that. I think playing with the reality is so much fun. One of my favorite things I've ever done on my page is posting an announcement that I was cast in Farmer Wants a Logo, which wasn't. It was like a joke post, but it wasn't on April Fool's or anything. And the promo photos that I got were so good by Jessica Lee's an amazing photographer. They were so good that it looked so like I was like, I can make this look like a legit. I'll do a series of fake reality shows, and I remember it got so many more views than the like ratio, like the normal. So it got so like no one knew what to do with it, which I thought was so funny. They didn't know.
People
if they
love
like
announcement posts.
Yes, they do.
I think they barely even absorb it. I maybe 10 years ago now did a post saying, I've just landed a role turning the Cotties jingle, My Dad Picks the Fruit That Goes to Cotties, into a full-length musical. And people were like, whoa, what a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, are you...
They want you to win. This is the thing. That's what I realized. It's like they want you to win, but they don't want to fall for it at the same time, which is kind of an awful place to put someone in, I feel.
Yeah, I better give it a like just in case.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, no comment. And so yeah, I think the book signing thing was, I mean, I'm still getting messages being like, up until right now, I thought it was a real book. And I think my biggest mistake is I always assume that wearing the bald cap means, like, if the bald cap's on, it's a character. It's a joke.
Let's talk about the bald cap for the uninitiated, because this was on my list of questions. That what is the value of the bald cap?
Honestly, it's just like there was I think a Halloween party I went to in like 2018. And all I had was a Steve Jobs I had a bald cap, I had a turtleneck, and I was like, fuck it, I'll go as Steve Jobs. I'll dress up kind of.
What are your other, I just want to quickly brainstorm other options, black skivvy and bald cap.
It's really just Steve Jobs.
Maybe if you have like a thin strip of white tape, you could be a priest.
Yes, maybe.
A bald priest.
Maybe. And I thought, like...
everyone's favorite character,
the bald priest at the Halloween party, It's like, that's the thing, I was like, it will be a fun conversation starter. It's like, literally, I think the 2 costumes I've ever worn in the last, like, decade is Steve Jobs or New Balance Toad, which is Toad from Mario, except everything he's wearing has a New Balance logo on it. It's the same color scheme, but he's wearing had the mushroom hat on.
I think there's an Easter egg of New Balance Toad in the new Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
He gets in there?
He makes an appearance.
I gotta sue. I gotta cease and desist that. That's ridiculous.
Now, were you going for which Steve Jobs were you going for? Like, what movie adaptation, or were you doing your own interpretation?
Doing the book specifically, like that. I love that photo of him on the book that was made about it. I don't think it's an autobiography where he's doing that pose, right?
With the chin.
With the chin. And I was like, that's hilarious. I'll copy that. And I think because the character is it's still called me. It's Elliot Ulm, right? And I think it's very freeing wearing the bald cap, putting on the glasses and the turtleneck. Like, I look ridiculous. And I think it changes my physicality so much that I don't even notice it. Like, my brother came the other night and he was like, your posture is so bad the entire show. And I'm like, I feel like I'm standing up straight. In reality, I'm like hunched over, like doing all this kind of weird stuff.
You're like Christopher Reeves in Superman. You've seen that clip of him doing that little adjustment going from Superman into Clark Kent. Just like the most subtle shoulder action.
Yeah.
You go, oh, I believe it. I
wish it was as intentional as that, because I don't even notice it until I'll be reading like the book and my back will start hurting so much halfway through the show. I didn't realize how much of a physical toll this, like both shows that I've done, is so.
But what I love about it, because I'm working on a show and every show I'm seeing, I'm being inspired in different sort of ways, and I was inspired in all sorts of ways watching your show, because it's a combination of scripted stuff and improvised stuff and songs and all sorts of things. And one of them is that power of the suggestion of I put on the ball cap and I'm a slightly different version of myself. I'm a heightened version of myself. I had a similar conversation with another comedian that I work with, Charlotte Grimmer, who also has a big online following, and people are coming to the show with therefore assumed knowledge of who that person is. And I think as soon as you heighten your costume in some sort of way and go, I'm a different version of the person you've come to expect, people then go, oh, I can now go on a different journey, I suppose, with them.
Absolutely. I think that's what I wanted to do, because I know that like when it's a blessing and a curse, mainly a blessing. I'll say that, like having a big audience where you get a lot of people coming. And I was talking to Julian O'Shea about this. We had a chat. Maps guy, great show. We had a chat about it after one of my shows where he was like, you got to understand that, like, because he's a fellow content creator, and like, he's like, people are coming not for a comedy show, they're coming for you. Like that's, it's less of like a festival show in that way when you kind of like have that following and your main audience are like fans, I guess. And it's kind of like this weird responsibility when you're on stage of like, I'm not, you know, because I see so many comedy shows that are more comedy shows that I like, anyone, the general public might be curious in. And like, I want to be more like that. But at the same time, you have to like pander a little bit to the existing crowd. I have to make some graphic design jokes because that's what I've done. I also do like making them, and I like that it's a part of like my comedy identity. But I think the board cap just, it does add that friction at the start, which is like, I don't think people know what, like really have any idea of what to expect with my shows. I don't really give away too much.
Let's talk a little bit about expectation in regards to an online audience coming along. And therefore they are, I had a similar conversation driving back from Charlotte's show. I saw it with Eleanor the other night, and I felt as if some of the audience, because her show sort of blends comedy and theater and cabaret, all sorts of genres going on. Yeah. And I think a lot of the time I'm looking around at this audience going, I think they're just thrilled to see their friend from the internet on 100%. Stage, and almost would be very happy just getting a photo and going, I went to see that person I really admire from the internet. I don't need them to really do
absolutely.
Much more than that.
The best part about that is you have the warmest audience basically at all times. And I think it is so freeing having an audience who kind of loves whatever you do, that I can just take like crazy experimental risks on stage and know that they're kind of going to support me no matter what. So it's like I can do a weird show. And if it was a bunch of people who didn't know me, that'd be so scary. It'd be so scary. I would probably learn a lot more, where I think I'd really learn how to get it out of them. But I think when you have that base audience who are really into it no matter what, it allows like people who may have never heard of you to like feel easier about laughing, to feel like less confused, because I think like this show can be quite confusing at the start. It was more confusing in the previews.
You come on stage and start straight into a song that kind of explains
it. Originally, I didn't sing the original 4 nights, the previews. I didn't come out on stage for the song. The song just played, because you came on the true opening night. When I would like to think I fixed the show. Before that, there was this opening song. It's a parody of Uptown Funk called Intimate Design, which is the name of the book. And I would start off stage. I'd be like, well, on the stage, Elliot, huh? And then I'd pretend that I got like called by someone off stage. The whole song would play out. There's a screen which just has words every so often, photos of an airport, stuff that like, you're like, what the fuck is he actually going to sing about? And then I would come out and be like, I got given a review, and I would read this review. It was awful. And that was kind of the start.
Interesting.
And it was a weird way to start.
And now that's moved to like Act 3 now.
Yes. Well, I know. I don't even read the review anymore. I've got
really?
3 reviews on me at all times, and I'm like, one day if I feel like I want to, I'll pull them out. It's a very modular show in that regard. But
explain the word modular, because I like that. I like that as a term, but I don't think I've heard it used in this way.
I love modular furniture. I love modular design in general, and I thought
so. That's the sort of adjustable design.
Yeah, I basically have. I'm utilizing a Stream Deck, which is a Twitch streamer kind of tool thing. It's basically a keyboard with programmable buttons. Each of the buttons are synced up to certain slides of a PowerPoint that I've got. So at any point, if I'm like, I do a Q&A section, right? If an audience member asks about, is there going to be a movie adaptation of this? I have the cast announcement, so I can go, you're not going to believe this.
You can go straight
run
to
over and do the movie
without skipping through all the things.
Or being like, not until later, I'll feel it later. Like I can just jump right into it.
But the earlier version was you would do it one thing at a time. You had a series of things, but now everything's Q&A.
Everything's Q&A. There's a lot more Q&A now. I found it so much more. I'll read the book. Like I'm kind of like, I've got that safety of the book when things get a bit quiet, when the audience have kind of run out of questions. And everyone I've been talking to has said the Q&A is the most fun part. And I think I think on the night after you came, it was a sold out crowd, and they found a game. The audience found a game, which I could not believe that it happened, where the first person asked like a random question about the show, and then they went, there's several times in the book that I'm reading where I mentioned that it looks like I've pissed myself through like certain accidents that happened to the character.
Yeah.
And they asked a question about the book, and then they went, also, did you actually piss yourself? And I went, no, did not piss myself. Great question. Moving on. And then the next person went, this question, blah, blah, blah. And went, follow-up question. When did you piss yourself? And I was like, all right, we're gonna do this. And it happened 5 times, like, and they built on it.
That's great.
And I was like, they're writing this. It's so fun.
I think there's a delightful
happens.
quality in you, and I also saw it in my friend Etche's show, which I had the pleasure of directing. Is that if you present yourself in a confident fashion, you can create a world, and then we know that you're almost like that fun uncle or auntie that the little kids are playing with, and go, do this, do that, and doing it in such a manner that it's like, oh, anything we say, they do it in a really fun way. Like there's always a fun way that tickles the audience. Then it does just go, oh, because the version I saw, you didn't really have the Q&A built in dramatically. It was almost like, oh, any questions? But it was a joke almost that you were asking. But then people did start asking questions.
It was the one of the guys who does my front of house. His brother was in the crowd, and he was like, at the end of the show, he went, "My brother asked you that first question," and that first question, I was like, "Oh my god, this is the show." I figured it out in that moment. I was like, "Oh, Q&A is like the biggest part of it." And I think what has been really interesting about the show is when it was in previews, I would never address that the book didn't go on sale. I would, like, from top to tail, the book was read by everyone in the audience. They had all brought a copy. I was going to sign it. I never revealed otherwise. And so when there were questions, they were always like, when I read chapter 6, I noticed blah, blah, blah. And I think like I didn't realize it at the time, but I was asking so much of them to improvise in that moment that they had like assumed that they had read it and come up with the plot point. And then on opening night, I changed it. So I had that moment at the start where I go, what do you mean? Like, no one brought it? Like, no, it never went on sale kind of thing. And it means that now people are just genuinely curious, and they're allowed to go, you mentioned there's a client, like what role does the client have? And I can go, yeah, Elliot will kill the client later in the book. And like I've written so much of it. I have this full story of this book that they only get to read parts of. And I can now, it feels so funny answering questions like so accurately about what is genuinely in this book, and like
it means every show is completely different, right?
Yeah. And that is, I think, really what I wanted to achieve in this show versus last year's show, which was like 80 slides, like no room for slowing down. Bang,
what was the title of that show?
Graphic Design Live.
And that's your brand already. Yeah.
And I came out with the board cap, did the song and dance at the start. But the most fun I had with that show was there was a moment in it around 3/4 of the way through. Basically, like the premise of the show was I'm a graphic designer doing a portfolio presentation, taking advantage of the comedy festival for the funding, I guess. And it's slowly revealed that he's an awful graphic designer. He is just doing all his work for free. He's got no clients. He's actually a drop shipper. And he's taking advantage of the audience by showing them his musical theater show that he's been writing. And I keep talking throughout the show about like how I'm failing, like I can't get my foot in the door. And I go like, can I try some stand-up comedy for you guys? Because Eddie Perfect actually started with stand-up before musical, so maybe I'll follow his footsteps. And I remember the first time I did the show, I had these jokes on these palm cards, and I kind of just got into them, and it was fun. It was funny. By the end of the run, I went from like 10 seconds of like getting into the mode of reading the first joke to dragging that out to about 5 minutes of breathing into a microphone, building it until I basically like climaxed in a way on stage. I went full red. I was making the most insane noises, and I was like, the more they laugh, the more further I'll go. And it was the part I looked forward to every single night, and I was like, I want more of this. Like, this is fun. I'm connected with the audience, because the rest of the show I felt so distant. And this show that I'm doing now, I'm like looking at them directly. I'm in the crowd. I'm in there. Like, it's a clown.
It's an improv show. It's an interactive show. Yeah. It's so many things at once. But I'm so glad you get to work that muscle as an improviser, because you're such an excellent improviser. And to not have that, we sort of miss out on
I
that.
know. I'm like, why wasn't I doing this the whole time? Like, this is
For
so
me,
fun.
for
Yeah.
me, it's a feeling of, oh, surely I can't get away with that.
That is what it feels like. Yeah.
Mm.
I think like when I opened it, I was like, I really just have this book, and I was like, you're gonna improvise the rest of it, and I was like, that's. Well, people are going to think this is low effort. Was my biggest fear. I think.
Yeah, big.
And you read reviews of other shows, as I've been doing every fucking day of this. I'm killing myself reading these bloody reviews.
Why are you doing
I
that?
don't know. I'm like, maybe a reviewer came. Let me check.
I
Chortle.
see. I see.
Why? It would
Why
destroy
you
me.
surely have a Google alert?
I don't.
You're not
I
a Google
don't.
alerter.
No, I got 2 reviews last year, and going briefly back to expectation, one of the reviews I got was titled "Not Enough Graphic Design Live," and it was by the University of Melbourne magazine, student magazine.
Okay.
And it was someone just basically going like, "I wish there was more graphic design jokes," and I was like, "What?"
As someone who already has a very solid online following, like how many followers do you have?
In total, around 300K on Instagram, 300K on YouTube.
Yeah. Goodness gracious, that's a lot. Is therefore it might be of interest to still hear for the listener to go, well then why do you care about a review? You got sold out crowds and you got already like you're already there. A lot of people dream of even having a hint of that sort of following. What is that urge to go? Yeah, but I'd like to be able to see it in
the
stars.
Imposter syndrome for sure. I think it's I was talking to a friend about it last night, and I was like, I feel like the ugly duckling, where I'm like this social media guy, not a real like. I think I fall for that a lot, like the whole like you're not a real comedian if you build it up on social media. And I think like I'm desperately trying to prove. I'm like, I started in comedy, I swear. Like, I've been doing improv for like 10 years, please.
You snuck in through another door or something. You got to grind it out in the ugly open mics.
Exactly. And I think like a lot of people will see the live shows as a way of like cashing in on that following, where for me it was the opposite, where I was like, I think I've tried to grow a social media following to get an audience, right? Like it just ensures that you
Sorry,
kind of
I just smelled something. I think I smell a flashback. We're going into a flashback.
A flashback?
Yeah, let's go to the early days.
Oh,
let's
absolutely.
go to the early days. So where does it all begin? What's the first follower? What are we doing on the internet in those early days?
It was 2019. It was just before. No, it was April 2019. So it was pre-lockdown. And
funk you up. Uptown Funk You.
That's the
I
song.
believe that was the big song.
That was
at the time.
yeah. It stuck with me from day one. God, I love that song. I love questionable copyright rules around performing licensed music. I was doing like freelance graphic design stuff. I had a few clients. Things were doing okay, but I had found this side of Instagram where people were just posting their graphic design work, and there was like a whole community. And I was like, oh, I want to be a part of this. And
just like Ariel, the Little Mermaid herself.
I felt like it, like the font Ariel as well. I don't know if you meant that, but Marcel, any chance I get.
I used to have a font-based joke, so I'm all for it.
Oh, there you go. There you go. They always kill. It's a great joke. But I remember I made this series of business cards, and I posted them to Instagram, and they all said things like, I don't have a degree. I hope that's okay. Right. It was like the front, and then my details are on the back. At the time I was using my genuine detail. I posted my full phone number, full email, like at one point my address was on my account because I was like made a fake invoice. I had to delete that a few years ago. I was like, oh God, I've grown too big for this blatant doxing of myself. But yeah, I posted these business cards, and it was like, it was amazing. Instantly it blew up. Got like 1,000 likes, and got reshared to all these other graphic design pages, which I had like dreamed of being reposted by. And suddenly the first post I've done gets reposted. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. The dopamine of getting 1,000 likes when you've got like 100 followers was insane. Absolutely.
That real gambling sort of mindset.
Oh.
I've had a few videos go well in the last week or so and go, okay, gotta post another video.
It never goes away.
Gotta get that hit.
And I love it because it just you get used to a certain amount of likes, and then you only feel good after more likes, and then it and that never stops.
Keep chasing that dragon.
You keep chasing it. It never stops, and it's so tiring. But I posted that design. People loved it. I kept posting more like comedic design stuff, mainly like trying to take the piss out of graphic design through graphic design itself. And then everyone went online during the pandemic. It was crazy. The growth was like 50K in a year. It was insane. I was posting so much.
Did you sort of find a rhythm? Because I sort of sometimes feel like output-wise, it can be very tiring if you're always sort of creating from scratch or brand new ideas? Did you find sort of a understanding of, oh, here are some moves that are available to me that I can, repeatable sort of
100%.
moves?
I had like built like accidentally templates in a way where I could just kind of fill things in. There were some carousels that I would do of like emails, like honest emails to a client that would start small and grow longer and longer as you swiped and get more anxious and stuff. And people would love them. And I'd change that for like when when it's late, when you haven't been paid yet, like all that kind of stuff.
Which is so smart. It's so smart to have templates.
20,000 likes on some of these stuff. It was great. Like the growth was just insane. And I just kept doing that. And then I started Twitch streaming during lockdown because I think I saw Tom Walker Twitch streaming and I was like, that looks fun. I should use this online audience. I have an audience now. It just meant that I could do things without starting from scratch, which was really nice.
And what was the Twitch medium? Like, what were you doing on
graphic design, mainly. I would design the things I posted on my Instagram. So it was like, come along to see how the behind the scenes.
Oh, so it's also feeding into that.
Absolutely.
So you're not having to do a brand new job.
Yeah, which was really helpful. And then I would also do this event called Design Chef, where I would dress up as a chef, do a little song and dance. There was a whole narrative arc every episode. And I want to do it maybe here, like as a proper live show. I haven't done it in ages. It was so much fun. Where I'd give a challenge. I would design for 60 minutes. The whole audience would design for 60 minutes. And then I would look at everyone's design at the end. And the whole rule was there was no criticism allowed. It was just a space where people could design for the first time in their life. And they could see it they could see me react to it and I would compliment it. And it was so much fun. But it took the life out of me when it grew from about 30 designs to over 150. And
because I've seen you do some like real marathon type things.
Yeah, I'm really I don't know why I keep doing it. I'd love doing that stuff.
It has a bit of that Tom Walker feeling of I'm gonna sort of punish myself for likes.
Yeah, and it works, which is nice. And it always means you can build a good narrative out of it. Like my favorite YouTube video I've ever done is designing 1,000 logos in 1,000 minutes. It took me 16 hours, a full day. And it was the most insane thing I've ever done. I was burned out for months afterwards, but it resulted in the best video I've ever done and probably will ever do. And it makes people were drawing parallels between that and like the ADHD experience because I got diagnosed with ADHD during the making of that video and it kind of like is in there somehow and it's become this really like beautiful video. But anyway,
how do you get diagnosed during a video?
Because I was like 3 months into making it, I had made no progress and I was like, something's up. And then I met my podcast co-host, Kel Lauren, amazing graphic design content creator as well. And they were like, here are my symptoms. And I went, oh, fuck. I was like, yeah, damn, I should probably look into this.
And no wonder you prefer a show where you get to just go off on tangents 100%, and jump onto shiny things when they appear.
Exactly.
And you got the podcast. How are you balancing it all?
Not too well. Not too well. I do a lot of like, there's a lot of nothing time where I kind of just am so exhausted and so like burned out from like a big sprint that I kind of do. I'm regulating a bit more now. I'm medicated. And I think once I get a good routine, something like this will throw me off entirely for a few months. I'm kind of well aware of that. But
like comedy festival?
Yeah, just like being away.
What do you mean like doing this podcast?
Yeah, doing this podcast will fuck me for 3 weeks, unfortunately.
Thank you so much.
It's worth it. But yeah, It's having like a thing like my podcast is good because it means that every Friday I show up, I do that thing, and then I can kind of move on. But it's all the like tackling like self-producing a show, marketing said show, writing it at the same time. And
surely you'd have a budget to get a admin assistant or a producer.
I just don't know how to do that, so I don't. I think that's one of the things I want to do moving forward. Like I would love to, like this show I had 1 2-hour workshop with Tom Cardy for a little bit where we did a show together, my big fuck off show in Sydney, the big musical improv thing I do. And I was talking to him about it and I was like, I don't have a show. Like I'm relying on this book and I don't know what to do. And we just had a chat about it. And I was like, this is the most helpful wow. Who would have thought talking about this show is the most helpful thing?
If only there was a director named Marcel Blanch-de that you, dear listener, could email. Or Tom Cardy.
Yeah. I think the main thing is just reach out. I think people would be very interested in doing it. And
it is scary. Like I watched Abby Wambaugh's show, the first 3 minutes of 17 shows the other day. I went, I'd like to ask Abby to direct a show of mine. I'm like, but he's scary.
I'm like, everyone's so busy.
Especially if people don't have like a platform where it's like, here's my job, like click here to book me. Like if it is just mysterious thing of like, I wonder. But most people's stories are, I reached out and the person said, yeah.
Yeah.
I think people are chuffed to be asked to help.
I think that's what I need to get so much better at. Like even here, the plan originally for this little trip in Melbourne was to meet a bunch of comedians, and I've yet to do that because
Name 3 comedians you've met.
I've met so far.
Yeah. Oh, come on!
I'm serious, Marcel. It's pretty. This is the thing. I feel so.
I'm so sorry when you did my show that I just said other Sydney comedians.
Yes,
too.
no, exactly. Lara. It's tough. I get very. This is the thing. When I got diagnosed with ADHD, my psych, who I was referred to by someone being like, just she'll diagnose. It's so easy, like kind of thing. You'll get in really quick. By my GP, actually, now I'm looking at it, and he was bad. But after I did that whole survey and stuff, she goes, "Yeah, I can definitely confirm you have ADHD. You might have social anxiety as well." And I was like,
there might be some other stuff in there.
Yeah. And then we just kind of left it at that. And I was like, for the next like 2 years, up until now, like now I see like a psychologist who's like trying to like unwire all that kind of stuff, because I was just like using it as like an excuse of like, I shouldn't message this person. I've got social anxiety, so I'll like be nice to myself in this moment. And I'm like, I should just be sending messages, should be reaching out to people. But I think I just really fall into that whole imposter syndrome thing of just like, I'm not a real comedian. And it's like the whole time of this graphic design thing that I've been doing, I felt the same. I'm not a real graphic designer. It's a real weird thing. I've always just felt like I'm Elliot, and that's like outside of like
who am
else. Yeah. It's very, but I'm sure of that. I'm sure of like who Elliot is, which is I think really nice.
So who are you?
Building a show.
Who's Elliot?
It's just me. It's just I'm just a bit of a guy.
Because what I've always sort of loved is that I met you through Improv Theatre Sydney, and you were such a down to earth guy. There was, and similar to Tom Cardy, who's also of the Yitz family, is there's no feeling when you meet you or Tom that there's like they're holding themselves in a different sort of manner of, don't you know who I am? Because even people who you should know who they are these days, you don't know who they are. I've had moments at the comedy festival where I've been like, oh, did you see who was in your audience? Or, oh, meet this person. They're like, oh, hello, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm not, I forgive them I'm not like, I don't give them grief, especially in real time. I don't go, you don't know who that person is. It's more like refreshing to go, oh yeah, no one knows anyone anymore.
Yes, exactly. And I think like the worst type of people you'll meet are the ones who are like, oh, hey, like you don't know who I am. Whatever. I've had moments where people have like absolutely blanked me or something like after a show, and I've been like, hey, that was a good show, and they're like, yeah, cool, and they walk off, and then I might like follow them on Instagram. They follow me back, see how many followers I have, and send me a DM going, what an amazing show tonight. I'm just like, shut up.
That is the comedy sort of way. The classic one is doing spots and barely getting a hello when you've come into the green room. Yeah, you do well on stage, and they suddenly go, "Oh, so what was your name?" And suddenly, like,
it's just the worst.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, to avoid having those interactions, I distance myself from the entire industry.
Because you also don't do spots.
No, I think I tried doing spots at the very beginning of like my solo stand-up career, like 2 years ago. And it was very much the same kind of humor where it's like, I will get up on stage, tell bad jokes, convinced that they're the funniest thing in the world. And I remember I did it like twice. One was at Billy Joel's Coffee Club or House, whatever. I forgot what that was called.
Alternative comedy night.
Yes, and I remember doing that, and it was really fun, and it did well. And I was like, great. I did it again at Nick and Tom's variety night kind of thing. I opened for them. That was really fun. That was great. And then Montaigne reached out and was like, hey, I'm doing like a new album kind of like preview, and the first half I'm going to get some of my favorite comedians up there. Do you want to do a show? And I was like, absolutely, sure, that sounds fun. I've got this set I did at the Nick and Tom thing. It killed. I remember getting up there, and I was so nervous because I was first, and I was like, this is not a warm-up. This is what I do. This is not like, this is weird. I think this is going to be odd. And I bombed so hard. It was the first time I'd bombed doing, like the 3 times I did stand-up, this was the first true bomb. Yikes. And I remember going up into the green room, and Tom Walker had watched it, and it was the first time I'd met him, and he comes into the green room, and he went, how'd you go? Like, how do you feel? And I went, Tom, I think I'm never going to do comedy again. And he was like, you needed this. This is good for you. You needed this. And I was like, okay.
He's had plenty of those shows.
Yes. And I was like, he also destroyed that show. He had the worst heckler, and he made the whole show about that heckler, and it was perfect.
He's so great at turning in something ugly into something.
It was incredible. Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm not a stand-up, is what I realized. But I'm like, I think there's still something with this style that I can do. And I was like, I'll put on the bald cap. I'll put on the turtleneck. I'll make it more graphic design. And then it really kind of pieced itself together.
Didn't care who I was until I put on the cap.
That's what it feels like myself, because it's like I'm. It's that thing of like you'd barely even notice it's on after like 5 minutes, but like it's enough of like oh, this is gonna be weird. I think because it's like when I got up there just as like myself in like I don't know kind of cool clothes and stuff, and I get up there and I make like I get up there and go, I'm a twin, sorry ladies, and they're like, what? It's just like, what does it even mean?
Yeah,
and I'm like, that to me is the funniest joke of
you also have the challenge. I mean, I keep relating it back to the Toms now of Tom Cardy and Tom Walker. You're a handsome man, and like a handsome man, when they want to be a goofball, they have to sort of do something. A lot of handsome men.
It's so hard.
Will grow a mustache. There's a lot of men growing mustaches to just go, I'm a little bit zany. I'm a little bit different. Yeah. But I think, and I've had the conversation with so many comedians when they talk about, I do things a little bit weird, a little bit silly. How do I communicate to that to an audience very, very quickly?
Yeah.
How do I get them to sort of change the frequency on their dial to go, we're about to watch a silly person now?
Yes.
Because sometimes when someone's being silly on stage and it isn't officially communicated to the audience just goes, do they know they're weird? Do they know that this isn't normal?
And you notice it in the laughter because people are afraid to laugh. They feel like, which is my favorite type of laughter, I must admit, where people are kind of like quietly losing it in their seats because everyone else is kind of like so confused and a few people are kind of getting it. But it is that thing of like you really have to communicate these jokes are bad, that is intentional. If you get on board, it'll be fun. Like it just trying to get them on board, I think
come into my world.
Yeah, like let's sync wavelengths real quick.
And there's nothing like a grown man coming on stage doing a parody of Uptown Funk. I mean, I'm already your friend, so I'm biased, but like watching that show, I was already like, hell yeah, this rules.
Amazing.
I'm so excited. I want to sing along. When do I get to sing? You know?
I think it's like I love opening it with a song and dance because I just like run out on stage. There's explosions on the screen. I'm dressed in a bald cap, the turtleneck. I'm doing the stanky leg. I'm like going all out, right? I'm screaming at people to be louder, staring at them. And I think like as long as it looks like I'm having fun, they get around it. I've realized. I think what I've learned in this one is if I'm not fully confident that I really have to get into the head of the character and go, this is the best thing you have ever done. Like it really has to go out there and go, this is an audience who have bought your book because you love your book.
The character is an expert, a very accomplished author.
Yes,
so proud of their achievement.
Yeah, and like is the best at what they do. Like you really have to go like this is the best, and they should be honored that you are here. And I have to tell myself. I stare at myself in the mirror and I tell myself that because there was a night like 2 nights ago where the front of house, we had the new front of house guy. And he comes up to me and he goes like, "Quiet show tonight." Before I did the show, I was like, okay. I was like, I know. I've checked the tickets. Like it's like a Sunday night. Like I know it's a smaller crowd.
Pal.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't need to hear that again. And I kind of like was backstage just going like, what am I doing? Like, what is this? Like, this is just bizarre. Like, obviously it's not working. And then I got out there and I kind of like had a really weird show where it was like the energy was a bit off because I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Whereas like the smaller audiences I've done where I fully still believe it, they feel so much more comfortable in, and I think that applies to like any kind of stand-up, right? Where if you break out of it and go like, "Hey, do you guys not like me?" or something like that, it gets such a weird reaction.
Yeah, I did a video about that this week. Of that constantly seeking reassurance is such a we don't like that.
Exactly, it's like it has to be that you have to make a mutual pact of being like, what a joy it is for us to share this moment.
Yeah.
This once in a lifetime moment that you are witnessing.
I want to investigate the social anxiety thing because a show that I'm developing at the moment, the working title is called Role Play.
Yeah.
And the idea is that I'm going to use role play. It's like, the sort of annoying thing is that Nathan Fielder has the rehearsal, which is so great. And I did watch that going like, this rules. I love this. But the main inspiration for me was that I work as a role play actor sometimes at night at corporate, and it was so delightful to see that you can get real people to come up on stage, or to come up in a classroom setting and role play a scenario from their own lives, and they will improvise straight away. Like they'll take to it really, really easily, like a duck to water, some may say. And I thought, this could be a show in itself. Is combining those two worlds where I will recruit people. The current version, I'm recruiting. I'm going to recruit some people on the night, or like audience members, and we'll develop it from real time, like what's going on in your life, what would you like to solve. But then for ease of time, I'm getting some friends, comedians, improvisers to tell me stuff ahead of time, and we'll have it sort of worked out, ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, I'll know what the scenario is rather.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to compress it and do it. So I'm sort of thinking, because I want to sort of hear what your thoughts are on the idea of how you might approach it. But I also want to hear, like, how does social anxiety present itself most to you? If there was a role play scenario that you could play out that you think would help ease that muscle, what do you think it would be?
Something like also, first of all, have you seen Two Clowns by Gary Starr? Have you seen his
No, it's on my list.
You absolutely have to see it. It's very much
that's his work in progress.
Very much on this. I saw it the other night. It blew my mind. It was quite incredible.
Okay.
Truly quite incredible. I've seen both of his now, and I'm like, that Two Clown show is
he is next level.
You have to see the show. Very relevant. And I think I think for me it would be, it's just the things of getting in an elevator and then someone else that you know is that you both know of each other kind of thing. Like it's those little things of just it's really all that is for me. It's like there's that mutual awareness of we know each other and no one is acknowledging it. Or like ordering a coffee, or like getting it's most situations.
Let's do the elevator.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to be on the elevator and I'll come on and we have a vague?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, let's talk a little bit about our shared history.
Yes.
How do we know one another?
We went to high school together.
And it's been how many years?
It's been 10 years.
And do we follow each other on socials?
Yes, but we would have done that 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've forgotten your name.
Okay. Yeah. And what would be the ideal outcome in this scenario? For it not to be awkward.
Peace. Yeah. I guess, but like, this is the thing. I always feel better after there's some kind of chat. What a beautiful human thing. My psychologist says, we as a society have taken being awkward as a negative. We've applied negative connotations to it, when in fact it is quite beautiful. What a beautiful human thing it is to have an awkward situation.
Explain more.
Well, I think kind of bumping into someone, having like a really kind of weird chat doesn't necessarily mean it was bad, right? It can be awkward, and there's kind of that's something. It can be quite funny looking back on it, how awkward it was.
And there can be an easing to that tension. There's that initial tension of the awkwardness, but then often that might be met with laughter.
Yeah.
Or wasn't it nice that we connected?
Yeah. Or thinking that person, and then it's someone else. You saw them from behind, and you didn't realize it was them. Like that moment should be so embarrassing. It should feel so weird, but it is actually what a beautiful human thing it was that you were trying to go say hi to your friend, and it just didn't happen to be your friend, but maybe it's a new friend.
Okay,
right?
So you're going to be on the elevator.
Yeah,
I'll get on, and this is a tall building, so we'll be on the elevator for a little while. And let's see how the first version plays out, because we might play it a second time.
Yeah.
But what I would encourage is that you're going to at least attempt some level of interaction.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're on top floor. We're going down. Bing.
We went to high school together, right? Sorry, take out your earphone.
Yeah. Hey. I've maybe.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right. Bing. Have a good one. Okay, what do we think?
I crumble instantly, and I'm okay with that.
I want people listening to know that the geography-wise, my plan was that I'm when you get on an elevator and someone's already at the back of the elevator, so I'm going to stand to the front of the elevator. Yeah. So my back was to you the entire time.
Oh,
as well.
I see.
Yeah.
I thought you were doing that thing where you lean against the wall, so you're kind of like perpendicular to it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let's do it again, and I'll make. That's going to be my. So you're also going to have to try and get me to
Your back is to me.
Give you more than even just turning gently.
I'm not saying a thing if your back is to me.
Okay.
No way. No way. Oh wow. I'm like that's
okay.
That's
You get in the elevator then.
Yeah.
Okay. You get in the elevator, and What if I actually try and start the conversation?
Yeah. That's ideally how it works, right?
Okay. Bing. Oh, hey. Sorry, I thought.
No, yeah.
You just look.
Elliot.
Yeah. Dennis. Yeah.
Dennis from year 10.
That's
crazy. There you go. You live here?
No, I'm just visiting brother-in-law.
Yeah, there you go.
You're also visiting your brother-in-law.
Yeah. Well, not my brother-in-law, but just I'm visiting, and I'm in town for the comedy festival.
Are you still? What was that?
I'm still I'm doing the comedy.
Is that working?
Yeah, it's doing good. It's doing good. It's fun. It's a fun show.
Huh.
It's called Book Signing.
I'm probably busy.
Oh, I wasn't saying you should come or anything. Don't worry about it.
I could come.
No.
I'm allowed to come if I want to come.
It's fine. It's actually sold out every single night.
Is it?
Yeah. So,
I couldn't find even a
I could get
a
you
resale
in.
ticket.
I could get you into the whole day.
I don't need your charity.
Oh, okay. You were always like this. Dennis.
I was not. I've actually
like this.
I've actually changed.
You actually bullied the shit out of me back in school. I'm remembering it now.
Yeah, and for a good reason too.
Yeah, fair enough.
You were a dweeb, and you're a dweeb now.
Yeah.
What's your show about? Probably what, graphic design or something?
Yes, it is. It is, and there is a certain niche audience who really appreciates that. But I'd like to think it applies to it works for the general public as well.
Yeah, I'm actually going to press all the buttons on this elevator so we stay. I want to stay in this moment.
I'm taking the stairs. Level 96. Yeah, I'm going down.
I'm crossing my arms across the elevator doors.
Come in, everyone.
No. Hey, what's the big idea? Can I get in
Jack,
here?
we went to school together.
Elliot?
No way.
Wow.
We used to bully Dennis.
Dennis is here.
That's crazy.
I'm back from the States.
Yes. You were a weird exchange student.
Hey. And see, what did you think of the second time around?
That was good. Good. I very much struggle to play for the truth of it because it's too real for me. Which I think would be interesting for your show as well. Is that something you're considering where it's like they're at a comedy show, so people might tend to go for the joke rather than kind of do the real thing?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be the particular challenge. I'm gonna have a development day on Saturday in Melbourne, and then have a bunch of ideas. At the moment, I've recruited a few people, kind of just to I'm making sure that I'm doing things in advance rather than on the day going, oh, it'd be handy having a bunch of helpers or things locked in. So I'm kind of I've invited a bunch of people with the sort of level of, I'm potentially going to use you in this potential way, and I'm going to sort of assess what might be best. You're totally right. In the versions that I've tested out when I've done some headline spots, I've had this as a little test. So let's do a role play, and I've introduced it as such. I'm a role play actor, and I've had them off stage feeding me lines, and both scenarios were pretty similar of people in their office that they just wanted to get more work done but weren't really giving them anything. And so it meant the truth of the scene was pretty real while also being funny of, oh, hey, Mark, I just need to get you to finish that PDF off. Oh, sorry, I'm doing the Wordle. Mark, if you wouldn't mind. Yeah, you made me, didn't get it again. And so I get to be sort of heightened and silly. But I'm also playing the reality of the office dickhead.
Yes.
So it sort of allowed me to do both. But what my hope is, like what we just did, the second version, I'd kind of want to be maybe the third or fourth version where it's allowed to get more and more heightened if we want to. Yeah. But maybe the second one would still be playing the truth of it, because especially if their goal is social anxiety, I'm going to then make that quite difficult. Yeah. And I think the elevator scenario is a good one because I would have my back to you and see if you could get me to turn. Yeah. I would see if you had the power, because the way I do role play is I'm always playing the truth of it. Sometimes people think, oh, we do it the second time and you're going to go easy on me now. It's like, no. I want you have to have amplified what you're seeking to do. Yeah. And then we'll see it.
The heightening is fun as well, because I think what I loved about Two Clowns is that it almost feels like Gary's teaching the audience how to clown without even, and they don't even realize they're clowning, but they very much are, whenever an audience member's involved. And I like the idea of teaching audience members how to like improvise in social situations and also like see the fun in that in like human interaction.
Because I might be bouncing around between getting other improvisers to stand in for me so I can be the observer and participant depending on what I feel serves the scene better. I have the ability to sub me out or sub other people out. I think we can have good fun with
modular.
that. It's modular.
I'm telling you, it's the new thing, modular comedy.
I want to come back to this idea because I think it's a very intriguing idea when people are from the outside looking into internet figures. What do we call you? Content creators.
I say graphic designer at the US airport security.
What do I call you? Is that your word?
I started using YouTuber actually.
Oh yeah, YouTuber.
Is when does it start bringing in? When does it start making money? When does it? Are you a full-time content creator?
Yeah. It's I think like at a certain point, people pay very well for the ads. If you get like if you have like a good agent as well, that's like kind of when it really kind of starts taking off. I was blessed to like end up with a kind of like a boutique agency of a guy. His name's Martin. Absolute like sweetheart. I love this guy. Lives in the Isle of Man for tax purposes. So he knows me. And he like he represents like a bunch of artists and graphic designer kind of stuff. And then I've kind of broken out of that into like more YouTuber. So I kind of get opened up to a lot more general sponsorships rather than necessarily graphic design software, for example. But yeah, it definitely, it means that like I can do YouTube full time. I can make like a video every so often and the sponsorship money kind of like will fund that as well as like a bunch of other. Being a graphic designer means that I've got like a print store. I can sell all these posters that I've done. That's kind of like a thing. I've got these phone cases. I can kind of make my own merch, have that.
Different
like
income streams.
Yeah. And it just means that this is meant to make no money. Everything I make from this goes back into the show, back into the comedy. And it's like that. I'm very blessed in that regard where I can do I can build like a content career as the job, do comedy as like the dream, but the job happens to also sell. The better the job goes, the better the audience is. Like the more audience comes as well, so they work hand in hand rather than feeling like super distant. So that's really nice.
In a world where we're at the mercy of these platforms, do you ever feel any unease with reliability, or that you'll be able to use these platforms in the same way the following year if they go, you know what, this year we're going to make it harder, or this year there's going to be more barriers?
100%. I think it's really weird having a very global audience. This is the biggest barrier that I've found, where I've got like all these followers from all over the world, and I'll go from posting the other week, for example, I posted a carousel of old designs that I've made over the years, like a bunch of like a flashback post. And in between that, I would chuck in posters for my show and like ticket sale updates and all that. And that got like 30,000 likes, blew up, killed. Great. And then the next day I post something announcing book signing, announcing the show. And I got the least amount of likes I've got in 5 years. And it's...
Because there's word on the street that the Instagram can detect when you're doing an ad. Like, yeah, this is an ad.
I think, like,
you should pay us for this.
I try not to get caught up in all of that, because it is very, like, the way I see it is more, it's annoying because I hate Meta. Don't get me wrong. I hate the people who run it. I think it's an awful, I hate Instagram. I think it's all an awful thing. I hate that I have to use it. But I think, like, at the end of the day, they're not showing, I think they're not showing my posts about it being that I have this show on because it's an ad for my show. It's because only 3% of my audience lives in Melbourne. And that means this post only affects 3% of my audience. And if they don't see it, then it's shown to people from Brazil, India, the US. They're just going to go, oh, this is for me, and they scroll. So then Instagram deems it as not an interesting post.
It's not compelling.
Yeah, and it's like even like sharing, like someone else like tagging you in their story being like, just went to Elliot's show, this is great. I get no views on these. Like,
really?
Oh, 300,000 followers? I'm barely cracking 5K this festival.
Oh, wow.
The most I got was 15K views on my story, where I announced that I was canceling shows because my voice was gone, because I got so many messages of sympathy being like, hope you're doing better.
Yeah,
and
right.
that shows, it's just a numbers game. It's all just like, if you can post, I'll tell, this is my trade secret, having done my biggest challenge.
Welcome to the sealed section of this podcast.
Write this down. When I was doing Design Chef on Twitch, I wanted as many people to watch it as possible. But I found that I couldn't just keep posting Design Chefs on, Design Chefs on, Design Chefs on. So what I started doing was farming engagement, which I hate that term, but you can do it in an ethical way, I would say, where it's like still fun. Where the simplest way I would do it is I would put up a poll being like, graphic design, and then have graphic or design. You could choose one of the two. It was so easy, but so divisive because they both basically the same, that it would tell Instagram would go, oh, this is sparking some discussion. This interesting story.
Mm-hmm.
It would boost it. I'd get tens of thousands of views, and then the next story I'd be like, "Hey, Design Chef's on right now.
Mm-hmm.
If this timer is still going, you do a little countdown thing. If this time is still going, I'm still doing the stream. You can click the link, join in right now." And it would, because that's the thing. You kind of have to cheat it a bit. People who follow you want to know what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
but Instagram won't show them. So you gotta like kind of cheat the game. And I think it all comes down to like getting like posting things that have nothing to do with your show, but you know will get some kind of engagement, and then kind of like sliding in your show afterwards, because like people they want, and that's the thing. It's like, it's not. I don't think it's unfair to your audience. They want to know. They're not going to know otherwise.
There's a bit of playing the game involved, and it's the same
Yeah.
thing I see sometimes where people will just. Sometimes their story is just like, here's the link to tickets. Like,
Yeah.
you haven't given
It's not gonna
the
do
audience anything else
Yeah.
besides here's the ticket link.
There's an annoying amount of effort you have to put into to get people to see that link in
Mm.
the first place. And I think ultimately the easiest way is doing paid ads.
How much do you do that?
I do
you
it.
boost? Are you a booster?
I'm a booster.
Mm.
I change ads like every few days, every week, and I exclusively target my followers in Melbourne. So
Mhm.
I know that the people who follow me, who are interested in my stuff, who live in Melbourne, will know that I'm doing the show. Essentially, that sold out my show last year. Easy. That
Mhm.
strategy, it was great. This year, I have been using a mix of clips from my stand-up special, which was done by the amazing people at Humdinger in front of an audience of 5 people who I told not to laugh. Right. That clip I got like 70,000 likes on my page when I posted it originally. It blew up. It was great. People loved it. It has, I think, 8,000 link clicks. It got like a 20-cent click through. It was an amazing thing for my show. Barely turned into any ticket sales.
Interesting.
Because
Why do you think that was?
Because they go to a page that's called book signing. And they
Yeah.
go, oh, I don't want to go to a book signing. I want to go to a comedy show. And I'm like, well, that's all right. So
your link might have intrigue, and then they go, oh. And I think sometimes as well, even if the first link is like, oh, it's a link for tickets, and I wanted maybe to see more of that show, or I
Yeah.
wanted to see more
definitely
stuff.
Definitely.
And now this guy wants something from me.
Yeah.
Who does this guy think he is?
It's tricky. It's like I really thought it was gonna work, and then it didn't. And I was like, that's fine. So I've learned a lot from like the ad specifically. What worked last year though was doing like especially if you have like an audience already. I think like the thing that I was just doing, see Elliot live. Melbourne,
Mhm.
see Elliot live. I didn't put the title, I didn't say what the show was about. I was like, just see Elliot live and look at all these shows they're about to sell out. 10
Mhm.
tickets left, 10 tickets left, 10 tickets left. They might have had 50 left, 50 left, but I was just like, you have to create urgency.
Yep.
And that's another way I shot myself in the foot this run, is I kind of panicked a bit on the opening week and created urgency in a way. This is how I think about the numbers too much myself. It's awful.
Mm.
I made an ad that made it look like the show was kind of only on for 1 week. And I was
Oh,
like
right.
trying to get urgency, being like, look at these dates. And I was just going to do that every week. And it meant that the first week was my best selling week.
I
And
see.
I offered some people, I was like, who came to the preview, I was like, I'll comp you if you want to see closing night. Because like you came to support, I want you to see how good the show is at the end. And then I would message them like a few days later being like, hey, just letting you, like, do you want to come on the Saturday or the Sunday? And they went, I thought you closed yesterday. I thought you just forgot about me. And I'm like, oh no, I've done it
Yeah.
again. So now people think that I did 7 days of a true book signing event. And that was it. So
but it is so smart to just in the copy just write comedy show or just write see Elliot live. It's,
Yeah.
it's so smart.
definitely.
Then like here is all the text.
Yeah,
that-
it's like I am going to be on stage. Come check me out. Chuck in the logo so people get a sense of what the comedy that is part of the thing. And I think like, yeah, I people just try and observe your Instagram habits. I think is a big thing as well. Like as you scroll, when you see someone else's ad, what does it do to you? Do you just like? If I see a full poster, I just swipe. Like
Yeah,
it's not
me
doing
too.
anything. Like there's
Yeah.
not much. It's good for like awareness. I think. Like that's something you should be doing months ago.
Mhm.
But like when it comes to the actual festival, you have to like generate some kind of urgency because everyone else is doing it.
What how much are you at the mercy of your followers in regards to? Are you very interactive? Do you reply to all the comments? Do you reply to DMs? How much do you feel like, oh, I got to get back to them? Because I know like comedians like Sashi Pereira have started going, I give myself like an hour a day where I reply to things and then I get off my phone. What is your phone and screen habits like?
I've got one sec, which is an app that blocks me from using Instagram for, usually it's from midnight till 6 p.m. every day. It's a
so
complete
healthy.
block. Yeah,
It's so
I try
healthy.
because I'll be like, I need to post a story. Then I go and I scroll for an hour and I'm like, what was I doing? What was the original plan? And then I feel shit about myself after scrolling for an hour, right? So I have like my old phone I kept and I just have Instagram on it, and that will always be there, like sealed away. If I need to urgently post something, I can. That has become, I've got like an hour of screen time every day of Instagram on that because I got too easy with it. Sue me, ADHD. And I very much try and stay off it for as much time as possible. And I used to reply to everyone. I used to reply back when I was starting out. I would reply to everyone. Every single comment, every single message. I just assumed that was part of like the job. And then I had some like pretty intense situations where like a month would pass and you've been kind of casually replying to someone and suddenly they're kind of like telling you that they don't want to be on this planet anymore.
You got this parasocial relationship.
And you've been like somehow like you just blink and suddenly like this person is relying on your responses. And like I remember I was so young when I kind of started it out, and I was just like going through this like thing with someone where I was like, oh God, like what is actually happening right now? How did this happen? Like what is going on? And then I kind of had a blanket rule of like no more replies. But I think when it comes to like building, I've now done a thing. If someone message me saying they came to the show, I do say thank you for coming, because I think it's important to like, you know, you can't thank everyone individually during the show, and I think it's so nice that people will take a chance. And I think replying to comments here and there is good, but like at the end of the day, I think, I don't know, none of us should be. If you're spending too much time on Instagram, I don't think it's worth it. I think I've built a perfectly good career online without being too engaging with people. I barely post stories. I kind of enjoy the mystery, I think, of like what's Elliot working on in the background.
I think you have a nice sort of cartoon heightened quality rather than like, oh, I'm having a bad day today, guys. How are you? Like, you don't have to have all of your private life on there.
No, definitely. I think that's the thing. I'm very private about my personal life, at least on my stuff, because there was that thing when I was Twitch streaming, I would reveal too much. I would give away too much. And it felt so weird when people just like, that's the thing. It starts off small. You start slowly giving away like little bits of information that you just think people might be interested in hearing. And then a year later, someone asks how your relationship is going. And you're like, what are you doing? Like, why am I getting asked this? This is weird. Like someone has like developed a bit too much of a
healthy boundaries.
Boundary. Yeah. So I think it can take off unexpectedly at any point. And you just have to like, you got to think long term with a lot of it. You can't.
Before we wrap up and plug your show, because this episode's actually coming out today. Because as you know, as a content creator, sometimes you have batches of episodes ready to go out, and sometimes you run out of batches. So I'm so glad that you were available today. But let's just do a quick little scenario.
That was the bottom of your barrel, eh?
Hey, it's me, Dennis.
Okay.
I came to your show. I felt bad about that moment in the elevator yesterday,
Dennis,
and it was really great.
Thank you so much.
And I'm sorry for bullying you in school.
That's okay, Dennis.
I could sort of detect in your show there was sort of a subtext.
Yeah, when
it was sort of about me.
Yeah, there was a moment where I kind of like broke out of the bit a little bit and had to unpack something for a moment that no one really liked hearing, but I kind of felt like compelled to. It kind of like it happened. And I'm glad it hit a note.
I mean, I'll let you chat to all your fans, but
yeah. One sec, guys.
Yeah.
Around the block.
Yeah. Oh, Jack's
hundreds
here.
of. That's
Jack's
crazy.
back as well.
Jack came.
Yeah.
And your whole extended family.
Yeah, we're all here.
Oh,
I'm here too.
Wow. 5 more.
I'm here as well.
Oh.
I'm Jack's Cockney friend.
Wow. Thanks.
Gotta
guys.
go. Well, they really had to leave in a hurry.
I had to go,
well, let me shake your hand.
Thank you. It's wet. My hand is wet from sweat.
Got you again. See you later, loser.
God. He's a bully forever.
So yeah, I think we all learned something from that scenario.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's always good to talk about it.
I hope we had a breakthrough.
Yeah, I feel Reborn.
Tell people where they can find your show.
Yes, I'm doing.
Are there tickets left?
There are tickets left.
Yeah.
There's plenty of tickets left this final week. Sorry, 10 tickets left tonight. Urgency. No, I'm very much enjoying this run. I've done 14 so far. 6 left in Melbourne every night except Wednesday until Sunday at the Trades Hall, 7:40 p.m. If you'd like, I've done the whole 2-for-1 tickets the whole time because it's bloody insane out there price wise. So use book, full capital letters book, if you want 2-for-1 tickets. Come along, or DM me.
One thing I want to say to the listener, just in case, I want you to hear it, because rather than just them hearing it in the outro, is that you have achieved that goal you wanted to achieve of having a show that isn't just for your online audience.
Yes,
because I follow you on Instagram, but I knew you as a friend and an improviser before that. So it's like I know you as that person, the improviser. So me and a bunch of other Sydney friends came along to your show as that.
Yeah,
We're going to go see our friend Elliot's show rather than we're going to go see Elliot from the internet's show, and we're able to enjoy it so much as that. So I want the listener who may not be initiated to know that they will have a great time seeing an excellent show.
I do think it appeals to anyone interested in more like alternative styles of comedy, but I also think it's surprisingly accessible. If so many people have come who've never seen a comedy show before, and I still think it works. It's more it's quite theatrical. And I think it's just a fun time. It's really like there's singing. If you like musical theater, you'll love it. It's a really fun time.
Great sort of Sondheim-esque number in there.
Always. At the end of my last show, there's always going to be, I'll always end the show with a Sondheim number.
And I want to say too that having that feeling of, am I one of the people, this imposter syndrome, you are bringing people to comedy that haven't been to comedy before.
Yeah, exactly.
You're here, you're doing the thing.
And if I can send those people to like comedians that I also like I think that's always how I've like kind of tried to ship myself, being like, let me be a ship for other, people who may not be like in the comedy world to enjoy more comedy, right? I love doing that at ITS, for example, Improv Theatre Sydney, with my big fuck off show, where I'm like, I want it to do so well. I love what they've done for. I love performing there. If I can bring people who have never been here before, and I can say at the end, if this inspired you and you want to do this, do a class here. Come see more shows. If I can help build that and use my audience to do that, then that's awesome, right?
Yeah.
Like I think that's such the best part about having like so many people following you and like who will kind of follow you wherever you go, is you can introduce them to things that you love and people you love, and like that hopefully expose them to that kind
I
of
can
world.
use this power for good.
Yes, because people use it for evil.
I haven't heard of that. Is that happening?
No, it does. It does.